All right. So now let's do another problem. What happens if I say 5x times y to the 8th times, I'm sorry, let me fix that 8 a little bit. That doesn't look like an 8. Times 4 to the y raised to the negative 4 squared. Now I'm combining all these rules because this is what we're going to have to do. I got to work on, remember the properties, remember order of operations. We got please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So that applies to this stuff too. So I've got stuff inside the parentheses that I can fix. So on my next line, if I want to make this positive, okay? Well, actually, I'm going to hold off on that. So let's think of this. This is like 4 to the first power, right? So I'm going to, in this next line, I'm going to say 2 times 1. So that becomes 4, 1 times 2. And then I'm going to multiply this by 2. So that gives me 4 to the negative 4 times positive 2. Okay? So what I'm doing is I'm pushing this 2 into the parentheses. It's a power. When I raise a power to a power, when I raise a power to a power, the shortcut is to multiply. You multiply the powers. Okay? So then in the next line, this becomes 4 squared, and then y to the negative 8, right? Because negative 8 times, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Now over here, this just stays the same. I haven't done anything to this yet. So it's just 5 times x times y to the 8th. Well, in the next line, I got to multiply like terms. Okay? So what is 4 squared? 16, right? Because 4 squared is equal to 4 times 4, and that's equal to 16. So this right here becomes 16. And then what do I do? Everything else just stays the same. So I'm going to say 5x y to the positive 8. And then over here, I've got y to the negative 8. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say 5 times 16. So I'm going to use the commutative property of multiplication. And I'm going to say 5 times 16. Then x, I only have one x, so it's just x. I just leave that as x. And then in the next line, I'm going to say y to the 8 times y to the negative 8. So I'm writing out every step because I want you guys to see what I'm doing, what I'm thinking. If we don't write it out, you might miss it. All right. So 5 times 16 is actually 80. X times itself is just x. Now what's the shortcut here? That's y to the 8 minus 8, right? So then my final answer then is 80 x y to the 0. Y to the 0 is the same as 1, so the whole answer is just 80x.